Yo, what's up, y'all? It's been a minute. Since it's spooky season, I wanted to go back to a bit of a classic, a Halloween themed classic. But first, let me ask you a question. Do you really remember this classic? The classic in question is. So back in my younger days when I was horny and explorative, still kinda am, I came across this on YouTube. This was a little before all the streaming shows started buying up anime. Like, dog, Bleach was bought out by Disney. One of the best ways to watch anime back in the day was straight up YouTube. People would upload the show in parts in order to avoid copyright, and yeah, that was just how you get around, other than using non-conventional means. I really want to talk about this series, mostly because I literally saw someone say this show was trash in comparison to like High School DD. And I'm like, dog, bro, why are you comparing garbage like shows in the 2010s when on some excessive gooner bait, my guy? Anime in the early 2000s in general is just like a way different time than what it is now. This is especially true if you ever went down the harem rabbit hole, which was way different back then than what is today. Before all this isekai nonsense, harems back in the day had a little bit of flavor to them with at least a different setting and some interesting twist that went along with it. Whether it be a boy getting killed and turned into a demon, or this one where a boy attends a school for monsters. I also really loved how in the early 2010s a lot of series took inspiration from those Halloween vibes, with shows like D. Gray Man, Soul Eater, and of course, Rosario Vampire. I especially love the colors that the anime for Rosario Vampire used, really adding to the atmosphere. But pause, that's more nostalgia talking because the anime isn't really the full scope. In the age of remasters and remakes, I really feel that Rosario Vampire is one of the shows that definitely deserves it because the story from the manga is significantly better. While season 1 is a bit nostalgic for me, season 2 is such trash! That season is majority filled with only 2 episodes being canon, and a lot of character development gets completely lost. I'm not saying that the story in the manga is revolutionary or anything like that, but the difference between the two is night and day. The difference between the two shocked me like when I found out Nijima Sensei wasn't just some gooner bait manga. Like, it's crazy, look at this compared to this. Yeah, seeing that OVA series made me want to go read the manga, and it definitely goes out there with the story. Like, this dude goes from somewhat of a Harry Potter clone to a Kung Fu master, and then turns into an Electric Super Saiyan 3. By the way, if you want me to ever cover this series, let me know in the comments, because it's definitely one of my favorites. But continuing, Rosario Vampire also has some big differences as well in comparison to the anime. Some of the differences being Sukune becoming a vampire, characters showing up in the manga that aren't even present at all in the anime, and just a whole lot of development that appears for the side characters that just isn't present in anime as a whole. Just to give a better understanding of how different the two are. One of the biggest differences is when Sukune starts losing control. Blah blah blah, he gets vampire blood and goes crazy and they need to figure out a way to stop him. Now in the anime, you probably expect that Boka, the main lead here, would give him a hug, plead, or even a nice smooch. But in the manga, this girl starts giving this man the two-piece with a biscuit, my guy! Look at her, just wailing on the man. Now, the manga has many more moments like this where the characters have to deal with issues that become present to the ever-growing challenges that they face. Each character gets at least some time to properly face their issue and come to their own resolutions, really making this cast feel more dynamic than in the anime. Some of my favorite renditions are Sukune and Mizore. Sukune in the beginning of the manga is kinda insufferable. He's always simping for Mocha and super whiny all the time, always causing him and Mocha to have dumb fights because he simply doesn't take the time to fully understand anything before jumping to conclusions. Like, one chapter is really this man whining about how Mocha forgot about his birthday and thinking that she doesn't care about him, despite all the times she saved him before. But thank goodness he actually gets some development as the story goes on. He can still be insufferable at times, but he starts becoming more active as the story goes on, being willing to look more outside of himself and understand the people around him more, and just becoming more of an overall badass. Like, dude goes from this whiny bitch to this man fully kitted out, pulling 2 Glocks on the mafia because they stole his girl. The weak to badass MC gotta be one of my favorite genders for real, man. Like Tsunayoshi Sawada from Hitman Reborn, who is, in my opinion, way more insufferable in the beginning than most NCs in this archetype. But when that man starts getting into this form, when he becomes the Dawn Man, it's just pure aura oozing out of this man. Like, look at him, man, looking all dapper. Another one of my favorites is Tosuke Rokudo from Rokudo's Bad Girls. He starts off by hiding in the bathroom from his bullies, to calling the main one out for a one-on-one, then pulling up to a whole gang and squaring up with the leaders, and finally flash tapping while fighting a knockoff choker. Yeah, hair mangas kinda tend to go all over the place. But let's get back to the Rosario Vampire cast. They all get a lot more attention and care in the manga. Mocha's dynamic is interesting with her having the whole split personality thing, so when the story shifts into explaining more into her background, it adds some interesting layers to her character. Kurumu grows as well during the story, always standing firm in her decision to protect those around her. Yukari learns more about her heritage through meeting Ruby, but also isn't afraid to brave new challenges for her friends. And Mizori gets a lot more great moments in the manga as well. One thing that makes her distinct from the rest of the girls is that she doesn't necessarily worry too much or cling to Sukune as much as the other girls. She lets Sukune walk his own path, often prioritizing what he needs in the current rather than following her own self-interest. All these moments are highlighted by the author's Akihisa Ikeda's stellar artwork. One of my favorite things when reading manga is seeing how these authors eventually come into their own with their artwork. Like Soul Eater is one of my favorite series, but have you seen what those early chapters look like? Yeah bro, it's not good. But once Okubo starts getting more comfortable, his panels start looking incredible. I can tolerate a lot of things if the art is good. Make whatever you want with that sentence. Especially when it's art like Ikeda's. The early chapters art is, it's alright. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but I can see someone dropping the manga, as the early story isn't that great either. However, once you get past volume 4 of the manga, the shift in quality of the art is astronomical. Look at some of these panels this man is able to draw. I especially like the art for the character expressions and the monster designs. Ikeda took a lot of inspiration from horror movies, as he noted in his author notes how he liked monster movies growing up, which is highlighted in this series and some of his other works, like this one shot How Far Can You Kill and Ghost Reaper Girl. Ghost Reaper Girl is his newest work, and honestly it's pretty good, and his artwork is still as stunning as ever in this series as well. Even the little cameos he has in his manga are drawn really well, so all the references really stood out to me. I especially love seeing him develop his own flow for action. Now, while Okubo and Murata are some of the best to do it, I think Ikeda is able to develop his own unique flair for it, especially when it comes to some of the impact frames he can draw, really making you feel the weight of some of the attacks. There's this one panel where Mocha puts all her strength into a kick. You can see the impact with some of the energy flowing out as little bats. This highlights one of the things that makes his artwork one of my personal favorites. It's his attention to detail. He always adds little touches in his artwork to make characters seem more distinctive as the story goes on. For starters, with Sukune, with him being pretty weak in the beginning, he often takes a lot of beatdowns, and as such, he's left with a lot of scars, which you can see grow progressively as the story goes on, really highlighting that for Sukune, it actually is a matter of life and death to try to survive in this school. Another instance is that one of the recurring villains in the seasons pertains to the wound that Mocha gave her. At first, it seemed like she would be the typical villain of the week, but then she returns with a giant gash on her head. I love the amount of care he takes for the clothing as well. You can see the minute details like folds in certain areas. He seems to take attentive care in the clothing that his characters wear, often making some pretty good looking fits in my opinion. This especially shines in Ghost Reaper Girl as well, as the main character essentially acts like a macho girl who can transform, and he often has her in these really cool and really stylish outfits, as well as the other characters in the series just looking stylized as well. Another thing that he often pays attention to is the titular Rosario, as both Mocha's and Sukune's start to crack when more and more stuff happens in the story, and as the story goes on, you can visually see the cracks in both of them progressively get worse as time moves on. All these factors combined make this manga such a visual treat to enjoy. Honestly, Ikeda is one of my all-time favorite mangaka, just because of the amount of passion this man puts into his art, which is why it's such a shame that it seems like that passion might be his undoing. As of March of last year, his latest work, Ghost Reaper Girl, is on hiatus due to him suffering from health complications. Mangaka often put their lifeblood into their work, pouring out every essence of themselves onto those pages. Those pages are an accumulation of sacrifices, time, sleep, money, food, health. All these things get drained for every panel. Such is the case for Yoshihiro Togashi, a man who poured all his passion into his work, but unfortunately it cost him dearly. For other manga authors, it can even lead to their death. So of course, due to these circumstances, there are authors who eventually fall out of love with making manga as a whole. But there are also authors who just generally enjoy the process as well. And I think Ikeda is one of those authors. Every time I read this story, I see that Ikeda generally enjoys just having the freedom to create whatever he wants. As he mentions in his author notes, quote, "What I'm trying to create is something like this. A story that blends action, romantic comedy, fantasy. I even changed the atmosphere in each volume. This is definitely how I felt when reading this manga. Ikeda seems like he's generally having fun coming up with these different plot scenarios, often giving each volume its own distinctive vibe. This makes the manga a pretty enjoyable read in my opinion, as you can never really expect which direction the story will follow. It's honestly kind of funny how experimental the plot of the manga is in comparison to the anime, which just oozes moe slop. So much so that people actually complain about how different the manga is in comparison, mostly because there wasn't enough moe, and Ikeda gives a very succinct reply in return, stating that the anime is the anime and the manga is the manga. If you like this anime, then I think you should definitely give the manga a shot. It's a story that Ikeda poured his heart into. He wasn't seeking money or fame. Instead, he wanted to create something that could widely be considered good. And through reading this story, I can wholeheartedly say that he accomplished his goal. So let me know if you feel the same, after taking the time to really remember Rosario Vampire." Yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching. As you can see, this was supposed to be a Halloween special, but because of my timing, with work and other stuff, it's now a Halloween / quote unquote Thanksgiving special, right? Yeah, but anyways, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you to everybody that helped out. I'll leave a link to all the music in the video in the description. I especially want to give special attention to Bonesaw art, because that was the particular song I used for the small A and B section of the video. Please go check out their channel. They're releasing a new EP for some of their songs literally this week, and I really hope that their music gets some more attention. And some of the other stuff they're doing too is pretty dope as well. I hope to release more videos before the year closes out. I got a couple in the tank, man. It took me a while, but I got a couple more in the tank, I swear. I'm going to release at least probably 2. No. I'm going to release 3 before the year ends. I swear. I'm going to release 3 before the year ends, man. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.